It's good to see you again in VNA News. I'm Bing Hang from Hanoi with the major stories. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc praises women for their contributions to socio-economic development. Vietnam and South Africa seek cooperation in telecommunications. Da Nang strives to lure more tourists during unseasonal months. Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc has spoken highly of the role played by Vietnamese women in national defense, construction and development. Deputy Prime Minister Phúc made the remarks during a ceremony held in Hanoi on October 18th to mark the 85th anniversary of the Vietnam Women's Union. He also said he believes that the role and position by the Vietnamese women will be further enhanced in the future. Deputy Prime Minister Phúc presented the Vietnam Women's Union with the first-class independence order from the state president, in recognition of its achievements in the capacity as an organization engaging in ensuring legitimate rights and benefits for Vietnamese women. At the ceremony, the Vietnam Women's Union Central Committee honored 9 organizations and 10 individuals for their contributions to social development. Minister of Information and Communications Nguyễn Bắc Son, accompanied by executives Vietnam's top telecom companies, are on a visit to South Africa to promote business cooperation. At talks with the visiting Vietnamese minister, South African Minister of Communications Faith Muthambi said the visit marked a new landmark for the two countries to boost cooperation in information and communications. The two ministers agreed to increase the exchange of delegations and establish dialogue channels to share state managerial experience in the information and communications sector, especially in digitalized television, press management, among other fields. Minister Son recommended the two sides create favorable conditions for their telecom enterprises to invest and cooperate with each other. A Vietnamese party delegation joined representatives from political parties of 14 ASEAN member states and partners at an ASEAN conference on women's participation in politics in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The event, hosted by Malaysia's ruling National Front on October 17th, aimed to clarify women's role in the economic, political and social life. The conference issued a statement calling for political parties and governments to create favorable conditions for women to assess achievements of information technology, issue laws and policies to boost the rates of women in elected agencies, and increase education and training for women. The head of Vietnam's delegation, Trương Thị Ngọc Ánh, Vice President of the Vietnam Fatherland Front, made a speech at the conference, sharing the achievements in all fields that Vietnam has achieved in the past years, and solutions to boosting the rate of women in party, National Assembly and state agencies. Along with flights to Taiwan, China, Vietjet Air will launch new routes to the Republic of Korea in November, which are expected to facilitate travel, trade and tourism cooperation between Vietnam and the two economies.
The carrier is currently implementing a promotion program which offers one-way tickets for flights from Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi to Seoul and Taiwan at prices from $0 to $90. The Civil Aviation Administration of Vietnam reported Vietjet Air contributed 70% to the 26% Vietnamese air transport growth in the first 6 months of this year. The airline has received 8 modern aircraft from its contract to purchase 107 jets from Airbus, increasing the total number of modern planes in its fleet to 26, including A320 and A321 generations. As a new generation carrier, Vietjet Air is favored by both domestic and foreign passengers thanks to its service quality, diverse entertainment activities, and attractive promotion programs.
Vietnam Central Bank said the US dollar interest rate cut last month will not cause economic losses for organizations or individuals. It is more beneficial to shift to dong, as the difference between the interest rates on dollar and dong deposits is now above 5%.
On September 28th, the State Bank of Vietnam slashed the interest rate ceiling on US dollar deposits offered by commercial banks to organizations and companies from 0.25% to 0% per year. The rate for individuals was reduced from 0.75% to 0.25% per year. The move aimed to prevent foreign currency hoarding in the domestic economy and increase the interest rate gap to create more advantages for the dong against the dollar. The current interest rate ceiling on dong deposits is 5.5%. The central bank recommended companies making future payments in US dollars transfer their US dollar deposits to Vietnam dong to eliminate any potential opportunity costs and purchase dollars under a forward contract for the payment. The forward contract will enable the company to exchange an amount of currency in a specific future date for a specific rate in order to avoid exchange rate risks. Interest payments from the new dong deposits would both make up for the cost of the forward contract and generate profits for the firms.
The government has approved the border trade agreement between Vietnam and Laos, which was inked in June in the central province of Nghệ An. The agreement is expected to create a legal basis for boosting bilateral trade, in line with the two countries' comprehensive cooperation. It is expected to help raise two-way trade to $2 billion in 2015. In recent years, border trade between Vietnam and Laos has grown, with a larger number of businesses involved and import-export demands on the rise. Administrative procedures and policies have been improved, while the infrastructure along the border gate has been upgraded. Efforts to prevent smuggling and counterfeit goods trade have also yielded positive results. The new border trade agreement stipulates that all border gates on land are open to trade. The import tax rates for goods made in Vietnam and Laos, as well as various products made by Vietnamese investors in Laos, will be zeroed. More than 94,770 households in the Central Highlands have been lifted out of poverty, thanks to credit policies over the past 3 years.
The steering committee for the Central Highlands said the region's poverty rate was reduced to 11.22% in 2015 and 18.92% in 2011. Preferential credit policies have also helped generate jobs for approximately 34,000 laborers, provided school loans for more than 53,000 underprivileged students, and built over 6,000 new houses and 296,000 clean water facilities in rural and far-flung areas. In Đắk Lắk province, credit programs have contributed to implementing the Sustainable Poverty Alleviation Target program and ensuring political security. Its impoverished household rate fell from 14.67% in 2013 to 10.02% last year, and it is expected to decrease an additional 3% this year. The Central Highlands comprises the 5 provinces of Kon Tum, Gia Lai, Lâm Đồng, Đắk Nông, and Đắk Lắk.
A training course on restoring paper artwork under the instruction of European experts took place at the Goethe Institute in Hanoi. It was a co-project between the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum and the Dresden Academy of Fine Arts, Germany. Nguyễn Văn Huy is the only technician in charge of paper artwork restoration at the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum. Over the past 6 years, through his hands, numerous drawings and documents made of paper have been restored. However, he does the meticulous work mainly with experienced learning from his family, which is now producing Hàng Trống folk painting.
I mostly learned from my family's experience in restoring paper artwork. I also learned from my colleagues while working at the museum.
During the training course, Hui and other trainees got access to advanced methods, techniques and equipment to preserve and restore documents made of paper, a material particularly susceptible to environmental changes.
The main purpose of this training course is to provide Vietnamese technicians with experience in conserving and restoring paper artwork that we have effectively applied for many years.
Drawings and documents at the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum are now being cared for in a methodical way. However, with a huge amount of artwork waiting for restoration, what the museum needs now is to improve the skills of its experts and technicians in this field.
Of course, there is a big climate difference between Vietnam and Germany or other European countries. But we visited the preservation warehouse at the Vietnam Fine Arts Museum and saw that the documents are currently being conserved well and carefully. If there is anything to be improved, it's the way they are displayed.
The techniques and chemicals the German experts brought are very useful and new for me. I am learning how to use these chemicals and seeing if we can apply it in Vietnam, where the humidity is different from European countries.
During the course, hands-on exercise in small groups supplemented the theoretical overview of techniques. By this way, the trainees gained an extensive insight into preventive care for paper-based collections. The central city of Da Nang has conducted a string of activities to attract more visitors during the off-season, when the number of tourists drops by half that in summer months. The Municipal Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism, SAT, apart from road shows in Japan, the agency has organized familiarization trips for foreign travel and press agencies to study the local tourism market. To lure more holidaymakers between September and the end of this year, many local tour operators and service suppliers have also launched attractive promotion packages with reduced prices on tickets, tours, accommodations and services. Along with cultural and spiritual advantages, the reduction of ticket prices and other promotion activities are expected to help draw more arrivals, especially during the stormy season. Tourism insiders said Da Nang should bid to host international events, especially art performances, organize larger-scale traditional art performances, and offer typical tourism products in an effort to attract more foreign visitors. Under the city's tourism development plan by 2020, Da Nang aims to become a tourism center of the region, focusing on high-end products with a combination of leisure and sports and entertainment activities. Sơn Trà Ocean Park, for example, is being built at a cost of $300 million and is expected to be operational in 2017. The Tiên Sa Port and a number of museums are being upgraded, while the Sơn Trà Peninsula is projected to become a national tourism site in the near future. Along with products that connect localities at home and abroad, Da Nang is striving to improve the quality of services, with special heed paid to personnel training, beautiful and safe tourism environments, and public awareness. Statistics showed that the central city has welcomed nearly 3.8 million visitors this year so far, earning $459 million, up 23.6% and 30% year-on-year respectively. Of the figure, the number of international tourists stood at 860,000, up 31.8%. The number of domestic arrivals was nearly 2.9 million, a rise of 21.3% over the same period last year. And that has wrapped up our daily bulletin. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye from Hanoi.